independent consumer watchdog whose sole job is to look out for you. That means making sure you've got all the information you need to make important financial decisions like buying a home or paying for college. And it means going after anyone who tries to take advantage of you or rip you off. Starting this month, that includes the folks who come up with your credit score. If you haven't checked out your credit score recently, you should. It can have a major impact on your life. It can determine whether or not you qualify for a loan or what kind of interest you have to pay. It can even affect your chances of renting an apartment or getting a job. But here's the thing. The companies that put your credit score together can make mistakes. They may think you had a loan or a credit card that was never yours. They may think you were late making a payment when you were on time. And when they mess up, you're the one who suffers. Until this week, if you had a complaint, you took it to the company. Sometimes they listened, sometimes they didn't. But that was pretty much it. They were your only real hope. Well, not anymore. If you have a complaint about your credit score that hasn't been properly addressed, you can go to consumerfinance.gov/complaint and let the consumer watchdog know. Not only will they bring your complaint directly to the company in question, they'll give you a tracking number so you can check back and see exactly what's being done on your behalf. And fixing your credit score isn't the only thing they can help you with. If you're opening a bank account, trying to get a student loan, or applying for a credit card and something doesn't seem right, you can let them know and they'll check it out. If you're looking to buy a home and you want to know if you're getting a fair deal on your mortgage, you can give them a call and they'll get you an answer. Their only mission is to fight for you. And when needed, they'll take action. For example, alongside other regulators, they recently ordered 3 big credit card companies to return more than $400 million to folks who were deceived or misled into buying things they didn't want or didn't understand. That's what Wall Street reform is all about. Looking out for working families and making sure that everyone is playing by the same rules. Sadly, that hasn't been enough to stop Republicans in Congress from fighting these reforms. Backed by an army of financial industry lobbyists, they've been waging an all-out battle to delay, defund, and dismantle these new rules. I refuse to let that happen. I believe that the free market is one of the greatest forces for progress in human history, and that the true engine of job creation in this country is the private sector, not the government. But I also believe that the free market has never been about taking whatever you want, however you can get it. Alongside our innovative spirit, America only prospers when we meet certain obligations to one another, and when we all play by the same set of rules. We've come too far and sacrificed too much to go back to an era of top-down, on-your-own economics. And as long as I'm president, we're going to keep moving this country forward so that everyone, whether you start a business or punch a clock, can have confidence that if you work hard, you can get ahead. Thanks, and have a great weekend.
Now back to the Gut Gospel Show with Nikki B on your favorite radio station.
Are you frustrated with today's real estate market? Want to sell your home but other agents haven't been able to get the job done? Get yourself an honest, dependable, caring home seller specialist. Contact Lanham Associates to sell your home. Call Lanham Associates today at 954-530-8198 for a free consultation, or visit them on the web at lanhamassociates.com or drop by their convenient Oakland Park office.
Once again, for more information, call 954-530-8198. That's 954-530-8198.
That's right. You really need to go ahead and call. And we are so happy to have Gary Lanham back with us, and we thank God for him. And if you'd like to know more about Lanham and Associates, you can go to LanhamAssociates.com. That's LanhamAssociates.com. And we'd love for you to like Lanham and Associates on Facebook. And, of course, they can be reached at 954-530-8198. Welcome, Gary.
Thank you, Nikki. It's great to see you, and God bless you today.
Well, God bless you. I tell you, it's been a little bit since we've been together, and we had some great conversations about how to buy and sell and how to get homes. But tell me, what has been happening since we last saw you?
Well, a lot's been happening, Nikki, and we are certainly grateful to be affiliated with Wexy Radio. We've been helping several of your listeners, and I want to talk about that today. And I also want to continue to talk to you about the realtors that we've been adding to our agency, and I want to address how we've been going into churches now to help their congregations deal with ways to avoid foreclosure and short sell their homes. I like that President Obama was a nice intro for me. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful for that, because President Obama has allowed many homeowners who have gotten up against the wall and against their finances, being upside down in their mortgage, to be able to get out of those bad loans and get on with their lives. And that's a very important consideration when anyone's marketing a ballot box this coming next 2 weeks, because that's something that our society will benefit from. And I also want to talk to you about some things that we're doing with regards to building our social media presence. We'd like for all your listeners to go to Facebook and like Lanham Associates. We're a business in Fort Lauderdale, and we serve the real estate market in South Florida, which includes Broward County, Dade County, and Palm Beach counties.
All right, and so we do want to remind you that for all of you who are listening, there's many of you listening in South Florida, definitely like Lanham Associates, but also want to remind all of you who are listening all over the world, because there are people who tune in from various parts of the country, because we do stream on the internet. We are a worldwide broadcast, and we're heard all over in various parts. So just because he said that that's where their business is located does not mean that you cannot get with them, because, of course, they can help you get a property here in the South Florida area if that's your interest.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nikki, on that, because we can do referrals throughout the state of Florida. In fact, oftentimes do referrals throughout the United States.
So wherever you are in the United States, make sure you like Lanham Associates on Facebook, and also give them a call or visit them on the web. You'll be glad you did. Now, can you tell us about how you have helped some of our listeners? I know you need to keep their information confidential, but maybe you can share with us the things you have been involved with.
Yes, Nikki. Confidentiality is a major consideration. What goes on between my company and our customers never gets disclosed in terms of the people involved, but I can share with you some specifics on how we've helped 3 different WEXI listeners.
Well, please let us know how you've helped.
Well, first off, we began our relationship with WEXI Radio just about 4 or 5 months ago, and ever since then, thanks to you and thanks to God, our phones have been ringing off the hook as a result of these real estate programs. And we've been able to help over 10 homeowners so far.
Wow.
Yeah, so generally we've helped in 3 different ways. The first way that we've helped is that we have listed and we have in contract some of your listeners' houses where they were facing foreclosure. We've also sold some of your listeners' homes and helped them get cash to move. Of course, when the economy's bad and people are upside down with their mortgages and they're looking like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I can't pay my mortgage. I barely can keep the lights on. How am I possibly going to do the right thing? Doing the right thing, of course, is selling your house and not going into foreclosure and not being embarrassed and doing the wrong thing in God's eyes. We want to make sure that we try to follow, we do the right thing as far as making sure we are financially responsible and responsible to our families and to ourselves.
Yes.
And that's allowed us to work with several of your listeners and help them get cash to move out of their houses. And that's an important consideration, because if you're faced with foreclosure and you think you have no alternatives, we can work with your bank to get you some cash so you can get out of that house and do the right thing. And then finally, we have listed some of your listeners' homes that are not in a financial situation. In other words, it's not a short sale and it's not a foreclosure. And we've been able to get them under contract and closed within 45 days.
Awesome. Man, that's some good news. I know for many of the people who were assisted, and of course that's good news for those of you who are wondering, what are you going to do? So can you tell us some of the specifics of some of these situations? I know confidentiality is important, but I'm sure some people, if they hear it, they go, oh, wait a minute, I'm in that kind of situation too. Maybe they can help.
There are a lot of people in this situation. In fact, I think if we realize that we're, as a society and as we live in life, a problem that affects you or me oftentimes is a problem that's shared by many.
Yes.
And that's the way we have to look at this. We're all in this together. And I'm going to talk to you today about 3 of your listeners. And, of course, I'm going to give you their first name and their last initial, if that's all right, because I do want to maintain that confidentiality.
That's fair.
Listener number 1 is named Lizzie B. And Lizzie lives in a condo that she shared with her late husband in North Fort Lauderdale. Lizzie's husband died about 6 years ago, And 3 years ago, Lizzie's mother got sick, and Lizzie needed to take some time off from her job to take care of her mother. Lizzie's mother died 2 years ago, and as you know, our economy has been very, very difficult. Lizzie couldn't get the same pay that she was getting at her job, so she ended up taking a lower paying job, which didn't allow her to pay her mortgage. She was able to get food and groceries, but she wasn't able to pay the mortgage. The bank started a foreclosure action. The condo association started a foreclosure action. And simply weeks before the condo association was to put a lien on Lizzie's condo, she contacted us. We found Lizzie a buyer for her condo within a week.
Wonderful.
We stopped the foreclosure with the homeowners association. We contacted her attorneys. We worked with her attorneys, and we worked with her bank, and we're now helping Lizzie locate a rental that she can move into with the money that she's going to get from that sale.
Awesome.
Listener number 2 is a real sweet lady named Eloise S. Eloise is divorced. She's retired from the Broward Sheriff Department and is on Social Security. Eloise has 2 grown children, and they live in Georgia. Eloise wants to sell her house, or wanted to sell her house in Sunrise, so she could move to Georgia and be closer to her children. When Eloise called us in, she was a little bit concerned because her house was paid for, but she was concerned because her house needed some maintenance, and she was worried whether that would hinder a sale or whether she should do a lot of repair around the house on a limited budget. We listed Eloise's house, and we got a contract and closed within 30 days.
Man.
Eloise is now living with her son and his wife in Georgia.
Praise God.
Then the third listener I want to share with you is a gentleman named Charlie D. And Charlie is one of your Miami listeners. He lived in a house in Miami Gardens. Charlie lost his job. He was upside down in his mortgage, and he owed more on his house than it was worth. And let me share with your listeners what that means when you're upside down with your house.
Yeah.
For this house, he paid $170,000 in 2006. But today, his house is only worth a little over $75,000. I don't care what kind of appreciation or inflation that the market could have, Charlie is never going to get to $170,000.
Nah.
Charlie found a new job in Dallas, and he listed his home with us. We sold Charlie's house 3 different times. Now, you may say, how did that happen? Well, a short sale does require due diligence and attention to the details. And typically the reason a short sale doesn't occur is because the buyer gets tired of waiting. The first contracted buyer we had for Charlie's house lost her job. She couldn't close it. The second contracted buyer did not want to meet the bank's final price, and the third contracted buyer was in it to win it. The third buyer recognized that there's no inventory in Broward County or in Dade County, so they met the bank's final approval price and purchased Charlie's home.
Awesome. Well, I tell you, those are some great stories. I'm so glad to know that your company is out there helping people, and I'm so glad to have the opportunity to share these stories and the information with everyone that we might be able to kind of get that information out there. Now, we do want to remind you can go to LanhamAssociates.com. LanhamAssociates.com, or you can like them on Facebook, Lanham and Associates, and of course you can call them at 954-530-8198. Now, before we go on and talk about some other things, because I do want to talk about some more things, but let me just go ahead and remind people about what Lanham and Associates is all about.
Do you owe more than your home is worth? Are you in a must-sell situation and not sure what to do? Think you're doomed to drown in your underwater mortgage? Think again. Lanham & Associates can short sell your home. 70% of foreclosed homeowners never knew there was an alternative to foreclosure. You can be different. A short sale is the answer.
Hi, I'm Gary Lanham, and I have a passion for helping people in difficult situations. Lanham & Associates has a team of realtors with the experience and expertise to find a solution that works for you. Call us to avoid foreclosure. The consultation is free. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Lanham & Associates at 954-530-8198 or visit our website at lanhamassociates.com or drop by our convenient Oakland Park office.